I know a thing or two about music. I've been in a handful of bands, I've taken college-level music theory classes, I've seen over 150 groups live, I've organized an annual punk rock music festival in my hometown, and my record collection is probably a lot cooler than yours. Why do I say this? To bolster the validity of my statement when I say 21 Pilots is my favorite band ever, gosh darn it. If you're here to listen to the rant by itself, you can just go to this point in the video, but I'm gonna spend a minute or two talking about the group just so I feel better. Okay, 2009, Columbus, Ohio. 21 Pilots has started and they dropped one sick McFrickin' record. It's about religion and dying stuff, 8 out of 10, would recommend. Then half the band is like, making sweet jams is cool and all, but you know what's even cooler? Quitting and actually trying to be adults with responsibilities. So everybody pretty much left and it was just the singer, Tyler Joseph. Then he got his buddy Josh Dunn to hop aboard the whole operation. They quickly recorded what is probably my favorite record ever, regional at best. It's diverse, the lyrics are gold, everything about it is so gosh darn good. I really like this album. The fact that it was recorded by some dudes in their bedroom using Ableton and a drum set, that is freaking radical. 10 out of 10, masterpiece, baby, good record. Side story, this album sells for over $1,000 online, so I didn't have a copy. A friend named Maddie knew how much I loved this album, so for my birthday during school, she gave me a CD, and I started to unwrap it, and I saw the cover, and I was like, you didn't. Turns out she spent hours the night before trying to make an exact replica in her spare time. Darn, that is the nicest gift I have ever received from everyone. Okay, back to the main video. They get picked up by Filled by Ramen.
You got signed and you by Ramen.
They re-record a ton of their tunes and turn them into a glorified EP called Vessel. I had a friend whose little brother called this the Grandpa album. 7.5 out of 10, great album. So during this period in time, they just kind of simmered. Vessel was a really darn good album and word of mouth gave it a massive boost in popularity. So when 21 Pilots finally released their single Fairly Local, everyone was super pumped and then collectively realized it wasn't that good of a song. That lasted about 5 minutes, of course, until their other single, Tearing My Heart, dropped and most of the words were pretty much alleviated. Then follows Stressed Out, and I hear that one isn't too popular, and then Lane Boy and so on and so forth. I was really excited for this album and it was okay. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than most albums released now. It holds up okay in terms of longevity. I still jam to it and stuff. It's just their weakest release. But that's not saying much considering the fact it's 21 Pilots. Their worst a lot of the time is a lot of other people's best, so nice job, guys. 6.5 out of 10. That's still way above average. Now that album cycle is out of the way and they're going on a little hiatus and they're gonna get back to making some more songs here pretty soon. Hopefully they'll be a lot better than Heathens or that really bad Cancer cover because I did not like those. Good, now you're up to date. 21 Pilots is a really good band. I've made a ton of friends going to their shows and stuff. The first time they came to my town, I camped out early in the morning. I brought along my Xbox 360 and I talked to a lot of people, a lot of whom I still talk to almost every single day, almost 2 years later. The vibes were golden, everybody was best friends, and everything was awesome. Once we got inside the venue, however, all my friends became heathens. That is a stupid pun. We are not going to include that in the video. Everybody became jerks and started pushing and shoving, and they were screaming and clawing, and it was just horrible. I've been to literally hundreds of concerts ranging from death metal to hip hop. All 3 times I've seen 21 Pilots, the crowds were consistently worse. Oftentimes the room is so tight that when 13-year-old girls in flip-flops in the audience eventually pass out from dehydration, they remain upright and nobody seems to do anything because they're so freaking concerned with being close to the stage. Everybody pushes and shoves their way to the front, and the people who seem to end up magically appearing in the front rows are all tall dudes. They're either dressed like some kinds of college douchebags you meet in California, or they're dressed as the guys handing out slips to their Bandcamp URLs on the sidewalks as you're let out of the 21 Pilots show. Here's mine, by the way. If you see any of these dudes weaseling their way to the front of the room, you have my permission to kick them in the shins and chant, "Get in the back," or something like that. And if you are one of those guys who willingly ruins concert experiences for other people, I hope you fall off a swing set and break your leg so you can't go to concerts anymore. I went to Sasquatch 2017 in Washington with some chummies. We stood in front of the stage for upwards of 10 hours. On pavement. In direct sunlight. We had okay spots and we got to see bleachers and MGMT, but having to endure listening to the Clique interact with each other was almost unbearable. If you've ever said, "Oh my Josh, I'm so done with you," non-ironically as part of a conversation, you're part of the problem. The way the fanbase seems to idolize Tyler Joseph and Josh Dunn is a little uncomfortable. My deep admiration and love for 21 Pilots is rooted in the fact that they're just average dudes who made some incredible jams in their bedroom like I'm trying to do, but now they've blown up. They're not gods, they're not untouchable, they're just bros who you could bump into at a local basement show down the road. That's what I love. That's awesome. All of that is thrown out the window when these kids are losing their minds over when they decide to get haircuts. That's what's fundamentally wrong with the Skeleton Clique. What makes the band so different from other mainstream acts that are so popular right now is their roots, which the band takes a lot of pride in. The very existence of the Skeleton Clique kind of destroys what made 21 Pilots radical to begin with. Not only is this idolization thing getting out of hand with the fans, but it's also reflecting upon how the band conducts themselves on stage and on social media as well. I was up against the rail during a show last February watching 21 Pilots in a sold-out arena, and I was thinking to myself, man, this kind of feels rehearsed and fake. Gone is the spur-of-the-moment outbursts of emotion and improvisation. 21 Pilots is too big and they have too large of an audience to do that anymore. I'll still see them whenever I can. I'll still listen to their albums at least like once a week, and I still rock their merch as often as I can. But I do so with a hint of longing deep down for the brighter days when they weren't a colossal supergroup. Remember when they were just two 20-somethings doing crazy stuff in basements? I know a lot of my viewers are fans of 21 Pilots. I stalk my subscribers from time to time. Everybody does it. And I understand that this is not exactly an unpopular opinion. This is something that a lot of people feel, and I vibe with you guys. So here's some things to remember. Number one, their old music is not going anywhere. The self-titled and regional and best albums will always be available one way or another, and nothing can stop you from enjoying those. Number two, there are still a ton of artists right now doing stuff just as cool as 21 Pilots in their bedrooms. Small artists are where it's at if you want stuff that's raw and DIY. I recommend Tag Along Friend, who is from my hometown, and Cave Town, who I may or may not have a massive crush on. Tyler Joseph's solo work that he did in high school is outstanding too, if you haven't heard that yet. Number three, do you ever watch videos of people attending 21 Pilots concerts in living rooms and think to yourself, sheesh, I wish I could have been there? Well, you can certainly come close. Get out into your local music scene. It's not that tough. Literally, open up Facebook and type in your hometown and musicians, and you will find a list of smaller shows that pop up. How about you actually go to these? Meet the musicians, make friends, and you might even find outlets to make music yourself and create your own band. Then you can be the one playing in basements and Apple stores and local clubs. It'll change your life if you get sucked into it, and you could be a part of the next huge thing. Yeah, 21 Pilots might have been corrupted by its heinous fan base, but there's still hope for you and other musicians too. You can be the difference and help music grow. Just try to be a decent person, okay? And remember to kick tall dudes to the back of the freaking crowd next time you see them. Here's a speed run of other things I can't stand about 21 Pilots fans. If you get up in arms about people spelling it 21 Pilots, you're part of the problem. If you claim to have mental illness just so you can better relate with the lyrics of the songs without properly getting diagnosed, your obsession is both dangerous, disingenuous, and you're part of the problem. If you disavow fans because they're only familiar with Blurryface, you're part of the problem. If you are any of these people, you are part of the problem. If you believe that 21 Pilots can't do anything wrong, cancer, you're part of the problem. And finally, if you create YouTube videos calling people out, trying to push your idea of what this band is and how it should be enjoyed by other people, you are part of the problem. Oh, wait. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Why do I always do these end segments like 12 octaves higher than the rest of the video? Or should I say 21 octaves? If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more ranting and stories. Did you know I have social medias now so you can stay updated on when videos are coming out, what I ate for lunch, and you can find them in descriptions below. Please note that I understand that this video is targeting a really large and very aggressive fandom and stuff, but it's really important for you to remember. There is no way that my views or opinions can affect yours unless you agree with me. Have a radical week and stay spicy. Is that my thing now? Stay spicy? I really hope not.